Alright, welcome back to this cute bouncing slime animation. Now we're going to add extra keyframes. So we added the golden poses from 0, 12, and then frame 24. And you also added some supporting poses right here on frame 2 and then frame 22. But we need to add more keyframes to make the animation look more clean, natural, and smooth. Now what I want to do is watch the animation and see where we can add some improvements. So first thing I'm noticing is when the slime hits the floor, it stays in one place because that's what I added myself as a stylized preference. But between frame 2 and frame 12, I think it goes up very slowly. So if the slime hits the floor or a ball hits the floor, it's going to squash and then stretch. And whenever it stretches, it's going to go very high, super fast. So around frame 6, I want to take the slime, and instead of being it here, I can actually take this GZ and then move it up. So whenever it hits the floor and there's an impact, it's going to jump high, and then it's going to jump slower. So now let's see the difference. Now you can see that it looks a lot cuter, right? So when the slime hits the floor, it's going to jump very high. And then before it reaches frame 12, it's going to jump a little bit more. So between frame 2 and 6, it's going to jump very high. And between frame 6 and 12, it has a smaller location to cover. Now I can do the exact same thing here. So I want the slime to start moving around slowly and then move down very fast here before it stretches. So I'm going to go to something like frame 17. And then take the slime and then move it up slightly. So GZ and then move it up. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is when it starts moving, it's going to start moving slowly. And then it's going to move down fast. So this is a stylized preference. What I'm trying to do right now is hold the slime motion right here. So this is not physically accurate, but the slime is going to stay in the air for a little bit. And this is a stylized preference, and it looks very cute when you're watching it inside the animation. And again, one of the main principles of animation is exaggeration. You can exaggerate some movements, but still make your animation more believable. Now, another small detail I want to add is when the slime goes up, it can remain as it is, but I want to squash it slightly. So I'm going to select this bottom bone, move it up, GZ, move it up, select the top bone, move it down. Now select both bones and then press on Shift S, Shift Z, and then scale it out slightly so that it's more stylized and it squashes slightly when it goes up. So now you can see when we add these small details, the animation looks a lot better. Now I think the squashing is a bit way too much here. So maybe I'm going to press on Shift Z, move it in, move this out, and then move this down. And now let's watch the animation. I'm very happy how it's coming along. We can add a few more tweaks and it's going to look very cute at the end. So now to explain the basic keyframe terms, I'm going to explain them by the root bone. So I'm going to select the root bone and I'm going to explain what those are. And I'm also going to change the appearance of those keyframes. So first, frame 0, frame 12, and frame 24 are the highest and lowest points, which is why they're called the golden poses or the main keyframes or whatever you want to call them. So the golden poses are sometimes called the extreme poses. So if I go to frame 12, and for example, if I press on R, I can set this to extreme to make sure that I know that it's an extreme pose. I can also select frame 0, shift select frame 24, press on R, and then set this to extreme. Now, between frame 0 and 12 and frame 12 and 24, I have supporting keyframes, which are 6 and then 17. So I can select frame 6, shift select frame 17, press on R, and then turn them into breakdown because those are breakdown poses. And after the breakdown poses, we have in-betweens, but we don't really need to set them. First, we have golden poses or extreme poses. Then we have breakdowns. And right after breakdowns, you can just mess around and add more in-between keyframes, add more in-betweens in between keyframes, and so on. Because animation polishing is a very complex process, so I don't want to overwhelm you with the information right now. But that's all you need to do. We have extreme poses, breakdowns, and then in-betweens. We have more other terms. So there are obviously many more keyframes we can add. We can improve this animation to our liking. We can stylize it the way we want. But when you're polishing the animation, there's actually some point where you have to stop because you're never going to create 100% perfect animation. So make sure you watch your animation, add the keyframes, and then stop whenever you feel like you're doing too much and you're not doing a lot of improvements. So that's what I want you to know. And in the next lecture, I'm going to teach you animation curves and the graph editor. Now, don't worry, it's going to be very easy to follow along. Graph editor is very scary for a lot of beginners, but if you follow along, you're going to be fine. So I will see you in the next lecture.